Howdy, this is Rob from the Jonah Project, coming from my barn. Now, I'm not out fishing today, since I didn't have to, remember by paper what I was going to say. I got it in my head, so I know what I was going to talk about. I don't have to go fishing for the poem. Anyway, the subject today is self-obsession. Now, there are groups that say that self-obsession is the key to illness. Well, I'll say, yeah, because it's sort of a loop. It's a loop situation. It's a feedback loop. So if you look at it that way, it can be. Now, if you're an individual that has an organic circumstance with depression or whatever you may have, or you're a person that came from a broken home or had something terrible happen to you, you're going to think about it. And in our society, we're not only given the idea to think about it, we promote it, we have television shows about it, and we give you money if you'll just promote it some more. You know, all the nastiness that we do in our crazy societies. And so much of it has to do literally with self-obsession. Now, when you have a mom and daddy, and they got a baby, and they break up, and don't worry about the baby, then you've got some self in there. In fact, you got two selves. A lot of times it is one self that is the problem. For the most part, it's two selves that's the problem. But nobody's thinking about that little baby. That's the deal. They only think about the baby as the nuclear option. It is the weapon that they use. And that's another one of those markers of self-obsession. Now, you'll hear a lot of doctors and pharmacists, now I play one on TV, no. You hear a lot of people talk about narcissism. Narcissism. Now, what is narcissism? Well, there are lots of good explanations, and I'm not a doctor. I do not play one on TV, but I've seen narcissism. I've seen it in my family. I've seen a few little hints in myself. Thankfully, that got crushed. Because if all you can think about is you, and all of what you do and do to others depends on you, then to me that's narcissism. In a real way, like no matter what happens, it's all about you. And I've been talking about this poem, so the reason I'm doing this today and doing it in my barn, since I finally got a camera that sort of works, I thought I would talk about the self-obsession aspect and give you my take on it. And it came out in this weird kind of little thing. It's like a Western show. But since we're on YouTube, I can't have guns, and I can't do what I want to do. I don't think I need to. I just got to tell you the flow. Anyway, it's called self-obsession. Self-obsession is like the wild, wild west. Now meet the gunslinger that's the very best. Got a 6-shooter and a bullet with your name? He'll shoot you dead if it's all the same. Now take a magnifying glass to your soul. Your boots off in the desert so you're moving slow. Sun's gonna burn you like a viper in the sand. Come on, gunslinger, put it in my hand. That's all about me, and I call my pony mine. Off into the sunset with my other friend called I. We'll live together and be as one. 6 foot under. Self-obsession has won. That's what generally happens. If the core of your illness is self-obsession, unfortunately, you'll not only take you, but you'll take everyone around you. See, depression and mental illness has a blast zone. Unfortunately, the family is part of what can create the thing that creates the blast zone. So unless you have a little harmony, you can't point to one person that has created trouble and not understand what you've done to that person for them to react. That's just the way it works. So when you start pointing your finger, remember, you got them other 3 pointing back at you, the old bony finger or whatever. So that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a world of self-obsession. We live in a universe that really asks one thing of us. No, it doesn't even ask anything. By a lot of people's estimation, we are just an ethereal accident. Of course, I don't believe that way, but that has nothing to do with me. Anyway, since I'm losing my chain of thought, the chain of thought no, anyway, it's the chain of thought, you know, that kind of chain. No, it's just, I'm tired. It's been a long day. But I just had to put something out to talk about an important issue. And it's all about the self. Remember, the way I look at the world is, it's not about me. The world is about everything but me. That way, I can't let that mirror and there's a nice physics thing that you talk about this, and it has to do with energy going into a box and bouncing around. It's the ultraviolet bad thing. It's the ultraviolet explosion. It's what happens, but it really doesn't happen. Well, when it comes to people, there's a lot of stuff happening that really doesn't happen. We got to get back to getting some peace of mind. We have to get back to the earth. We have to get back to our roots. If you're not a religious person or a person of faith, then you're just told that you're an accident of whatever, parispermia. You know, it just came about. Now, if you are a person of faith, what you have to work with and what you have to hold on to is the ability to realize that you have a purpose. Well, all I can say about purpose is, since you're not thinking about yourself all the time, your purpose is to do for others. If everybody would do that, everyone would be taken care of. But when we have a large group of people that go into the self-obsession thing, it echoes throughout generations. Their children are screwed up, and then they grow up to screw their children up. Society as a whole, because of self-obsession. If you are a person of faith, the only thing you were told to do was multiply, procreate. That was your job. It wasn't to go out and change the universe, because you actually have nothing to do with it other than the incident of that's where your dimensional morph, your morphology comes from. And it's necessary in this universe that has the laws that we have. So anyway, stop thinking about you, stop the self-obsession, and just think about how you can change it. Reach out and do something good. Anyway, this is Rob from the Jonah Project, and I'm probably not going to be fishing for a while. Unless, well, no, we ain't going to go there. Anyway, hallelujah.